They would.
You
Nobody else would though.
wouldn't do it.
Why? It's true.
Okay, you guys, it's 4:00. August 10th, call this meeting to order. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you for everybody for coming. We have a lot to go over today, so we're going to slide to public comment to where it says public comment. You will be coming up to the podium and having your say here. So first thing is minutes from July 27th.
Good meeting.
Any changes?
No, I've gone through.
Martin, you okay with them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tickety boo.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve July 27th, 2021 council meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, special session, August 2nd.
I've been through it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve this special session, August 2nd, 2021 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the August 6th special session.
I have a question.
Okay.
Things. Under 3 sub C, the last sentence, trustee gives him his status, yet it is in his name. That doesn't make sense.
That's what you said.
No, I don't think so. I think there's something missing there.
Okay. So what did you intend it to say?
Probably being in the name of the trustee gives him his status. Yet it's in his name individually, because that's what we're talking about.
So what do you want it being in his name?
Being in the trustee's name
Okay.
gives it its status. Yet it is in his name individually.
Individual.
Individually.
I can make those changes.
Any other changes?
Under E, where it says at the end, state of legal existence to non-existence. That's, I don't think that's a complete phrase.
But that's what was said.
Well, again, I guess I would doubt that it should be. Okay, that's Woodley says. It's in a state of
Right, because you said it.
legal existence, okay. Just so long as it's clear that he is Woodley, not me. I didn't say that's why he said it in his pleading. So if you just change he to Woodley.
Okay.
And in I, instead of recorded cases, it should be reported cases. And all those are understandable. And I don't understand this. Counselor Damaris, she said if Counselor Leuenberger hadn't come into the picture, we have had a lawyer that we have spent a tremendous amount of money on and has guided us in this. If I hadn't come in the picture, what?
That's just what she said. I can't put words in people's mouths.
What did you mean?
If you hadn't interjected into the lawsuit, we had a lawyer telling us what to do, and you brought up certain points of concern. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. In other words, he's wrong.
That's a debatable.
No, it isn't. I don't care. Leave it the way it is. And R is just, an observation. So if you want that in there, that's fine. I don't care. Other than that, it's wonderful.
Okay, but so that we can start like getting these minutes approved the way they should be in the future, I would appreciate it if you just let me know that these changes before we come to the meeting so we can approve the most accurate minutes.
And normally I would endeavor to do that, but I have other demands.
Okay, so no other changes?
No, I don't.
So do we want to wait for?
So, well, I'll just make a motion to approve the special session, August 6, 2021 minutes with the approved corrections.
Do you have a second? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay. Fire department report.
Not a lot to report. Everybody knows we're still in fire season, so be really careful. We've done 2 fire calls, 1 mutual aid call with Powder River and 1 mutual aid call with Oregon Department of Forestry. We've had a medical call. Training is going really good. There's a fundraiser coming up this Friday, the 13th at 6:30 for Baker County firemen. It could be anywhere in the 13 districts, but that's having medical issues coming up with a family member. So District 13, which is every fire department in Baker County, is making a fundraiser. So I challenge City Council and the sweet citizens of Sumter to match what the fire department donates as a fire department. And there is also a dinner at the Elks Club with silent auction and $15 a plate for this individual, Friday night, the 13th, pulled pork. That's all I got.
And how much money is the fire department?
I do not know yet.
Okay.
There's like
Raised.
$200 out there at this point. So that's where we're at with it.
Okay. Any questions for Kurt? Planning.
We were unable to have a meeting because of lack of quorum. Dave was up working since the forest opened up a little bit. John had medical issues.
Okay.
But we're back at it next Wednesday,
Okay.
week from tomorrow.
Tim.
I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna be going and getting, our drums chlorine this Friday. We're on our last drum right now. And it is available at this time. They were short for a long time. And I've been getting, travel time and a day's wages to go and get the chlorine and I've been taking back 6 drums with me, and we get a $40 per drum return. And it used to cost us $400 to get a delivery, and we could never take our drums back because it was just a one-way shipment always for us. And so I'm asking that it was $79 in fuel last time for 300 miles there, or 300 miles there and back. And so I'm asking for what I've been getting with the mileage and then my fuel. I'm just asking for fuel. Is what I'm asking for. In addition to a day's wages with it, but I would be working anyway. I'd be getting a day's wages whether I'm here or whether I'm going after the chlorine. So
Is it your vehicle, personal vehicle?
my personal vehicle and my Dodge pickup and 14,000 pound trailer and going and getting it. So
Why are we paying you mileage too?
well, they are, but it I don't know what mileage is. Do you know, Rob?
Mileage doesn't cover his
No,
gas.
it doesn't cover it with that load.
No. But so I'm just asking that at least, that would be like wear and tear to me, the mileage part, but I'm asking that we would throw the fuel, which was, it was $79 last time that I made the trip in fuel. I fueled up both once I got back. I put $79 for the fuel, so I'm asking that I'm able to fuel up on that trip.
So it's wages, mileage, and your fuel.
Correct.
I move that we pay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
What's the condition of the grader?
The grader is, we need to pull the radiator. It's got a bad spot in the core, probably rotted out. And so we need to get it pulled out. And there's a tire that's really bad on it. Well, actually 2 that are checked really bad. And there's one injector that's been missing. I mean, it's got a missing motor. It probably needs a new injector also.
So non-functional at this point?
At this point, it is with the radiator for sure.
What kind of expense is that to get? Do you have a
I
guess?
don't know. I mean, the radiator would have to go into a shop. They'd have to decide whether they record it or whether they could solder it up or whatever, It's a pretty major leak right now. Nothing has hit it or anything. It's just rotted out over the years. Being 57 years old. So,
Did you get the hole fixed?
got the hole fixed.
Because it blew a hose yesterday.
Yeah, and we finished that up and went to Baker today and got a hose for it and this morning and got it all back together.
Is that other grader we have good for a radiator?
They're a little bit different actually, and they're only one serial number apart. It's pretty strange. I'm not sure if it would, I'd have to do some measuring. I couldn't answer that truthfully, whether it would or wouldn't fit in there. So at this point, check on that.
See if it has water in it.
Okay, that's a good starting point.
Or
Yeah,
if it doesn't have water in it, then it's probably been drained.
yeah. Okay,
How would you-
Because that one's just as old as the other.
what's that?
That radiator is just as old as the other one.
Yeah, yes, they were both bought, I think, the same time from the county. But they're 2 graders, it's amazing. Newton said, they was both bought at the same time, they're the same grader. Well, they're not, there's a lot of difference in it. Water, we're doing really well. We had to raise our chlorine levels pretty high to compensate for the muddy water that we were, it was just discolored water. And to get the chlorine where it needed to be. And so we were using almost twice as much chlorine as normal on clear water. But the water level right now at McCully Creek is actually still higher than before we got that rain. So we're looking pretty good at this point right now, but we still have several months. So.
Any other questions for Tim? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Robert.
See you later.
bills to be paid on here.
No? You're right.
There's no-
Thank goodness we can add stuff.
I'm gonna slip Rob in here for bills to be paid since it, missed.
Okay, included in the packet today is the profit and loss statement for July. Really nothing exciting to say, but we lost $17,000 last month. But it is the time of year where we start to lose money. So on that vein, let's flip over to the August cash statement. Last month's collections were $31,000. And then this month, we have a cash balance right now as of today at $21,195. A couple of the higher dollar item bills. This is our annual insurance payment. We made that late for last year, and we just did it a couple months ago. So we're actually, on time this time. $28,456.95. That's for the full year for all liability insurance. We are paying Buckley Law still $5,000 per month. You'll note that current charges are $3,300. Trip for him to come out here. Interest was $84 last month. There's my bill in there. There is Baker Sanitary Service for 2 septic pumps, $1,500. And then OTEC at $1,366. The Baker City Herald that was made, brought to my attention, that's probably an erroneous bill. And Renee's going to call them and try to figure out what happened there. So we probably not want to approve that Baker City Herald bill at this point. Right now we're projecting that without transfers from LGIP, we would overdraw our account by $9,400. I've already transferred $25,000 from LGIP. It is not included in this report. If you flip the page, our LGIP, not including the $25,000 transfer I just made, had $142,000 in it.
Rob, I have a question. There, on this Miller Lumber and Trust, the chainsaw, that's the fire department grant?
Yep.
Okay, and we will be reimbursed for that, right?
Yeah, same with the D&D supply.
Okay,
Those
I
two
just
are
wanted to
both-
clarify that so everybody knew that. Those are both reimbursable.
Okay.
Any other questions for Rob?
I do.
Yeah.
What does it cost to do a cost accounting on the flea market?
Not much. Just be $100 an hour, probably 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, you gonna do it?
Yeah, that's. If we want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move we do it.
Okay, before you vote, let me make my statement. Someone's gonna be unhappy with what I give you guys. But just know,
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm just telling you, someone's not, because this is a contentious issue, I understand that. But I'm gonna follow whatever rules are laid out for cost accounting, and I'm gonna include the costs that need to be included, and I'm gonna not include the costs that don't need to be included. I just want everyone to understand that before I.
What do you mean by costs don't?
Well, there are numerous opinions on what should and should not be included. I went through this with Greg beforehand and was told that I wasn't to do an actual cost report on how that incurred, but he wanted to include certain things that I said you probably shouldn't include. And so I just know that out there are ideas of what it should be included in costs and what should not be included in costs. I will provide that cost report, but I will only include the costs that should be included, and I won't include those that should not be included.
And you will list out
I will absolutely provide my assumptions.
Okay.
Yes.
of what should and shouldn't also.
Yes. I will tell you what is included and what is not.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yeah, I mean, I know somebody will be happy.
Yeah, no, I just know that. So I'm just calling it out. Somebody's gonna be unhappy with what I
So
said.
then,
Sitting here, I'm used to it.
so then are you gonna go back and do the last 2 flea markets, or are you gonna do the one coming up?
What does council want?
Because my suggestion, because Memorial Day had all that rollover money into it, that I don't know how easy or hard it would be
The
to
rollover
track all
money-
of that crap.
The
Stuff.
rollover money was essentially early deposits because they were for canceled prior year events
that they said, well, we'll join. Therefore, that money is includable.
Okay.
in
I just didn't know how easy it would be for you to go back and track.
It'll be what it'll be. But council should direct what events you actually want me to do with the cost analysis.
Why not do the last two? I don't think we can do Labor Day yet. We haven't even decided if we're gonna have it.
Okay, so July 4th and Memorial Day.
I suppose, or maybe Labor Day.
Are they
last.
separate cost analysis or?
I mean, I can
Can you
present
combine
them
them?
separate, yeah, absolutely. Because the way you collect money, it's clearly stated in the general ledger what event those each were for.
John has a question.
Yeah.
John, did you have a question for Rob or?
How can you do an accurate cost accounting without all three flea markets? Because it has traditionally been all three flea markets. Now, you can do them, you can break them down flea market by flea market, but this has been an entire summer type thing, or the three events put together for all these years. The second, I would like to ask a question of Rob. Rob, is there any way to determine the benefit to the city via the businesses that gain from this? Example, the gas make money because of the flea markets, and that benefits every citizen in the city of Sumter. Is there any way to show that has a benefit in the cost accounting system?
No. The issue that we have here is, I can tell you what the city's costs and revenues were. That's all I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I can ask the gas station or any other entity to say, hey, how much did you get from flea market? I know small businesses, I do a lot of work with small businesses. There's no way on earth they're gonna know the answer to that question. So no, that the benefits to the community would be one of those items that council would need to decide.
So what we're up against here is an intrinsic value more than a monetary value, because the gas station and the goalpost, though some people don't use them, are extremely important to other people in this community. And even fire, you look at it, we lose the gas station, are we hauling 5 gallons from Baker every time you come in and sticking 10 sticks of dynamite in the trunk when people come up here with the gasoline so they can fire up their chainsaws, lawnmowers?
Those are great
How do we
comments.
come into that?
Those are great comments for council. All I
Okay.
can provide is dollars and cents off of the financial.
We're just asking Rob to
Thank
do
you.
the cost analysis. Okay, there's a motion on the table to have him go forward to do that. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? With that.
I'll probably do it while I'm in Hawaii, so I'm ready to go.
You're supposed to be on vacation, no?
Yeah, work follows everywhere.
Uh,
Going to Hawaii tomorrow.
Is there any other questions for Rob on this financial?
I like the heat.
Is there a motion to pay the bills? Except for the Baker Herald?
Well, I make a motion to pay the bills excluding the Baker City Herald at this time.
So the second,
Also,
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're paying bills. Okay, Vern, come on up.
I'm going to one special event in particular, and that was the ultra marathon races that we had at the end of July. And in my opinion, I really feel the city missed the boat on those races. And not only missed the boat, but fell off the end of the dock and drowned. That's how bad and you might ask, how did I come to that conclusion? And so let me tell you what I kind of learned about it and why I felt that way. And those races consisted of 2 races, a 50-mile race and a 50K, which is 32 miles. In the 50K, there was a total of 84 entries. 50 men and 34 women. And of those entries, they represented 9 states. Those were Oregon, Idaho, Washington, South Carolina. By the way, it was a guy from Sumter, South Carolina. They don't spell it with a P, so they don't know how to spell the name of their town. And also Wisconsin, Tennessee, Indiana, California, Missouri. In the 50-mile race, there was a total of 57 entries, 39 men and 18 women, and they represented 11 different states. Those were Oregon, Idaho, Washington, Nevada, Colorado, Tennessee, North Carolina, Texas, California, Pennsylvania, and Utah. For the 2 races combined, that's a total of 15 different states that came here. Those people came here to our little community to do this race. And both those races now qualify for national points for a national title. It would, almost any little community, especially a little community, would love to have an event where people from all over the United States came. I mean, these people came from just about all over the United States. And, you can think of them like little ambassadors. When they leave, they're going to talk about where they've been and what they think of the community. And I think, for me, it would be important that they give a positive message about this town. I mean, I think that would be a plus. That's like free marketing. They're going to go and talk about where they've been. And like I said, they came from all over the United States. The oldest person was 72 years old. The youngest was 16. And, these are elite athletes. In the 50K, the winning time on that was 4 hours and 29 minutes. Now, back when I was young and foolish, I hiked those trails where they ran on. And believe me, it's not flat. In the 50-mile race, the winning time there was 8 hours and 53 minutes. That's incredible.
And they ran in the rain.
Yes, they did.
It's downpour. Just so you know, they had a great time.
Yes, I know.
And
I talked to them.
they've already rebooked for next year.
I'm sure of it.
They're
You know,
very,
And I get to talk to a lot of them because they come,
right.
they bring quite a support group. I mean, there's a total, they had a total of 141 entries. And you think each racer is going to bring a support group, a minimum of 2 to 3 people. So you're talking about several hundred people that came here from all over the United States to do that race. And, I think it'd be nice if the community could just kind of show a good welcome to them. When they first started racing here, there was not one business in this town, not one business, that would make change for them so they could get some quarters so they could take a shower.
Really?
Not one business. Now, that's a fine how do you do. And they're such nice people. I mean, these aren't drunks, they're not potheads, they're not homeless people. They're some of the nicest people I think I've ever met. People that come with them, I mean, there's grandparents, parents, spouses, a lot of them bring their whole family. And they'll come up and I'll get to talk with them. They'll come and sit with me there. It's kind of I got an advantage right there because you can see way up the road, see them coming down the hill to come into town. And let me tell you, when they see their runner coming into town, the pride and excitement they have for their runner is infectious. And they're so appreciative of anything you do for them. They'll come up and they'll come back over and say, hey, we really appreciate you supporting us. And all I do is I just sit there and ring a bell when they go by. And even the next morning when some of them are leaving, if I have to be out in the yard putting my stuff away, I've had them stop and say, hey, we really thank you for the support you're showing us. And I just think, there's the community maybe could do just a little more to say, welcome to Sumter. When that guy goes back to South Carolina and his neighbor asked him, said, hey, you was in that little town there in Oregon that don't know how to spell their name right. What's it like there anyway? And you want him to give him a good message.
Well, I appreciate you being such a good ambassador for us.
Well, it's just little old me out there ringing the bell.
Yeah. Well, I think like it rains so bad right at the end there, because I was up there and I think more people might have been up there when they came in, except the rain just kind of changed.
Yeah.
All this away.
We did have a fabulous breakfast for them.
Yeah.
Well, there's many things that the community could do to say, hey, welcome to Sumter, because like I said, they came from all over the United States to be here.
Well, they went to they participated in the breakfast also, I believe.
A lot of them.
A lot of
Yeah.
I like to add the burn. When they first came here, they were pretty self-contained, and that's the way they wanted to be.
Yeah, well,
But
and there's a
it's been-
reason for
It's
that.
been growing.
Yeah.
Well, they bring their own meal.
Well, they
carve
have,
up.
they gotta carve up.
But but the event has been growing. They
Yeah.
love the area.
Yes,
And I agree with Vern. I think maybe next year is the time to start doing it.
and it wouldn't take much just to show a little
And,
better welcome.
and we have offered, when they first came in, the volunteers offered. And this year, I'm gonna guess around 40% of the people we had at the breakfast were the runners up
That's
there.
good.
And we served 117 people up there, not counting the people working. So we had a good group of runners, and we appreciate them coming.
There's, with the format of that race, if you think about it, those runners leave early in the morning. So what's left sitting there is all their support group. And that first runner doesn't come back into town till around noon. And that's on the 50K, the 50 milers, it's about 2 to 3 o'clock before one of them come in. So they're hanging around. What a great opportunity to maybe, one thing Sumter has an abundance of is history. What a great opportunity to teach them something about the history of Sumter. And,
Some of them have been on the train when it was a weekend where the train was running too. So.
right,
Yeah, we'll make a note of that, Bert.
yeah, maybe just coordinate something with the train people or the, like the dredge, I don't know if they still do it there at the dredge, but they used to, have an opportunity like for kids to go gold panning and stuff. Teach them a little bit of something about Sumter history and what's life like here. And, back east, the history they know back there is all, early American history.
Civil War.
Right, well, Revolutionary War. The Civil War, that's Southern history.
Okay, very well. I made a note here that we need to look, because, I know they have a great time here and.
And like I said, I get to talk with a lot of them for quite a while. And I told them, I said, well, I'll try and give the city a little encouragement. And they said, boy, they would really appreciate
Well,
that.
thank you, Bert, for spending time with them too.
You bet.
Thanks. Okay, Elaine, Lenny here?
Okay, she's not here. She said she may or may not be able to make it, but she wanted to be put on the agenda. So over there on the safe is a box that she wants a little bit of guidance. She had a little success. I think it was, she raised over $80 for parking and porta potties the last time, and she just put a few containers out. So she found out where they did work, where they didn't work. And so she just didn't know if okay with her doing this and just putting them around town.
Does she have particular places she wants to put them?
She said that she made the most last time at the volunteers and up at the office at the fairgrounds. And then, so I don't know where they didn't work. I don't know where she had them that they didn't work. But I know Mike said she could put one at the gas station. And I think she was going to ask either Carol's or the Elkhorn if she can put them in there.
So does anybody have an issue with her going ahead with that project?
Is the money properly accounted for?
I tell her she can go ahead and,
Okay.
kind of let us know where she's gonna put them maybe. And
Yeah,
then
she's not going to put them unattended.
Yeah, and then
she-
she checks them or she has them with somebody.
It up at the fairgrounds. I don't know around the rest of the town, but up at the fairgrounds, John would bring his to the office, and I would take the one from the office, and we would count it and sign off on it. All of them in, and her and I stood and counted and verified what was in there.
Just so she's okay with that too. Okay, we don't have any new business, so we're on to old business, and I don't have the end of it, we have the city shop RSP. Martin, here, we came in a seal envelope for the city shop. Want me to go ahead and open it?
Yeah.
What is this for?
This is to put up the OSB on the inside of the shop and also to do the approaches and also the man doors, concrete. So when we get it signed off.
That's the last to sign off, isn't it?
This is the last part that needs to be inspected before we design.
Little itty bitty thing in here for. Okay, this is from Hughes Inc. Hang 12 sheetrock for door slabs, materials and labor. The whole thing is $2,500. Estimated start time August 20th, done the same day. You want to look at it? Pass it down.
Oh, I can't read it.
Smith's, yeah, I mean, it's hard to read.
Well, I can't read writing, so it's okay.
It's really hard to read.
So it only actually went up $1,000. That's what we got out of bid.
So are we good with
It's
this?
the only one you got.
I know, but are we good with the price and going forward to get this done?
Well, is it reasonable?
Yeah,
You think it is?
I do.
I don't know, so.
Well, because we had to, the biggest thing is the materials didn't change much, Martin. The thing that did change was because we had to bid it per damn weight. So that's where that went, because we went from between $1,000 to $1,500 when I first came to council, and then we decided to RFP it, and we put it out there, and it only went up $1,000, so I would say that's good.
Okay, the reason we're asking is because we have the right to reject bids if we feel they are unreasonable. So if we assume it's reasonable, I move we accept it and do it.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Hang on, what you're holding. Fine. Okay, last meeting, we tabled the water ordinance and sewer ordinances because LLC decided to leave stuff out when they reviewed it. Martin, did you have time to?
No, I didn't, but I did look at some of the next ones.
You didn't?
I
Okay.
didn't have a chance to redo them.
Okay, so we will table those on the water ordinance and sewer ordinance. And then now to our favorite conversation, Labor Day flea market.
I don't have that letter.
Labor Day flea market, oh, where is it?
From Karen. Miss
I
Peter.
have,
She wanted it read before we started really talking about the market investigating.
yeah, this is a letter from
We're
Karen
gonna do that today, aren't we?
Karen Peters. It's in regard to dust abatement in Sumter. I'm writing to inform you that I stand against the city changing the agreement they made to settle the Woodley et al. Lawsuit in any way. The city agreed to the terms and had failed to evaluate the agreement in the past. Deciding not to apply dust abatement as required in the settlement agreement is, in my opinion, contempt of court on the part of the city and its representatives. I am unable to attend the meeting, but I ask that this email be read during the meeting and before any discussion is made re-oiling. Okay. So, I guess there are two questions. Are we going to go forward with the flea market? And are we going to put some form of dust abatement? Discussion.
I think that we should go ahead and have the flea market, same as we've had the other two. And then for the dust abatement part, seeing as we haven't changed the lawsuit as of yet, we can do as it says, and we will bring in a water truck and we will water the roads. And that'll take care of the dust problem. The only road I will not have watered is in front of Burns, because he paid to have dust abatement put down. Other than that, the city paid for all the other.
You have that marked, don't you, Vern, or you'll let us know?
Well, where I paid for it is actually on the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I guess for you. Well, didn't you put some in front of your place?
Not this year.
Oh, okay. So then we can water that.
We'll mark what's been.
Which is IBEX in front of me.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, because good thing I asked you, because that's the only thing that I see that, I didn't know if you put any there from this other guy, or if we just did it for you at the city.
No, because when we redid it the second time, they went ahead and did that section,
Yeah.
otherwise I would have put something down.
Okay, so we can just water everything that the city's just maybe.
And I, of course, am against it because we don't have a clue whether we make money or not. We haven't had a clue for the last one, or the one before that, or any of them before that for years. Now we're gonna finally get it. But I guess we can go ahead and spend money not knowing. So, what now, Colby?
Well, I guess
the volunteers on that one, John,
We will help again, yes.
what did you guys talk about as far as Martin had brought up having the volunteers run the flea market?
You know, I thought that over, and I think that's very ambitious for us at this point. And we do not have the people to do it. Second thing is, in my opinion, this is a city function that benefits the entire city. It is the signature thing of Sumter. You go anywhere and say Sumter, and somebody will say flea markets. That's what we're known for. And I think this is, if we could take it over, it'd be short term. Long term, the city has to get the numbers, sit down this winter and fix the problem, because nobody has tried to fix the problem here for actually 3 years. Take the COVID year out, because we didn't do anything. We need to sit down as a group this winter and fix the problem. It can be done.
okay.
And in response to that, I'll say, one, we don't have a clue whether it can be done. Two, I'm not sure it benefits everybody in town. It benefits some merchants. They've been somewhat reluctant to participate. And you haven't seen them at one meeting. So,
Beg your pardon, they were here for the July meeting that you missed, or I think you were listening on Zoom, and they stepped forward at that time and put out restrooms. My suggestion is if we work this thing over in the winter time, we talk to them about making a commitment. They will commit to one restroom per flea market or two. I understand we've had an offer from the logs to make up any deficit. I don't know if that's a rumor. I don't know if that's true or not. And Jennifer brought up sponsors. You don't get sponsors immediately. If we're gonna go after some sponsors, we have to start in September and October, because these take a long time. And I have a pretty good contact back in California. I'm gonna get information to see if, let's just say maybe Budweiser would come in on something. I'll get a yes or no on that. When I go duck hunting, by the way.
and you know, the sponsors, Jennifer said she's gonna talk to them, and I think she said she did talk to them.
No,
Oh, you didn't?
no, I said it's a suggestion.
Oh, I thought you did talk to them. Okay, someplace I heard that. All right.
Okay, so I guess, no, we don't. Did you make a motion?
I make a motion.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't hear the motion, so can you restate the motion?
I'll restate the motion that we accept the Lee Food Market. Providing that we're gonna do the dust abatement with the way the lawsuit states. With a water permit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Here,
And as long as you're on that, it was brought up at the last meeting that we had some problems at dust abatement on top of the fairgrounds, especially with 3 vendors that was up there. And I asked Tim and Jeff, just because I remembered them doing that. They did take hoses up to those ladies the first day and told them that they could spray and use as much water as they wanted around their area. So they did have dust abatement that they could sprinkle whenever they wanted. And they could do the section in front of them too. So they did have hoses up there.
and would those hoses before treatment or after treatment water?
There was no treatment there.
No, this is, they were vendors in the sandy
The
area.
hoses, were they water from what we drink or other source?
They were hooked up to the sprinklers. I'm sure that was from
So that's treated water, right?
treated water.
Yeah, well, then, you know, why are we doing that when we have a water shortage?
That was in the Memorial Day,
Maybe, but.
I mean,
why-
excuse me,
are we gonna do it
July.
Now again?
in July.
You're intimating we're gonna do it now again.
Well, they can go in and spray that section too with water before they
And
come.
where's that water coming from?
Cistern?
Out of the cistern off the cracker.
Charlie,
It's not
Yes, sir.
treated water.
Linda?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a draft point where we are allowed to, for training purposes, pull a minimum 40,000 gallons. That's right over there. You know where the draft point is, okay? And the gentleman back then told me, fire, you take all the water you need, but you got up to 40,000 gallons to pull out of there. So Charlie talked to Kurt, he has that 500 gallon tank, if you haven't already, that he just said early in the year he would loan to the city. You can put it out there, fill it from the draft point, and no harm to the city, no drawdown of the water, not even from the raw water height.
But it's not for fire, right?
What's that?
It's not for fire though, is it?
No, but we can take up to 40,000 gallons out of that for basically any purpose.
I thought,
Training, any purpose.
I thought you said fire.
I said fire training and other purposes.
Okay, you left out
We
the
can do that.
and other purposes,
Yes.
okay.
We can do that without a problem.
Have you
Well,
checked
we
the
got
water right on that?
And we have the cistern,
I got permission from the Baker County, whatever the water guy is, to do the draft point over there, and he's the one that said, take what you want. 40,000 gallons,
yeah, because we got the well also.
whatever.
Who was it you talked to?
I do not remember. He was Baker County. He was the guy, I think I went through Gary at that time to get the name for the, what's it called, Water Master of Baker County or something like that. And I have a letter somewhere in the files. I don't remember his name.
So that was done previously, but not currently.
Well, it was 6 years ago and it's an open letter.
Can you furnish us that letter, please?
I will try and find it in the record somewhere.
Okay. Through the flea market now. Okay.
How much did the vendors, the merchants kick in? We never heard. The commoners out here in the audience. Never heard how much you collected from the merchants for porta potties.
Well, Renee can get that and she'll let you know later.
I can't pull it up on this,
She can
because
pull it
we're
up
doing
on
a
the
live stream.
computer.
I know there was 2,
4.
well, of course, the Longs provided their own porta potties, so we didn't have to purchase those. The Nugget paid $200, Lynn Bean paid $200, Marcia Damaris paid $80 or $85.
John Young's neighbor.
Remington paid $100. She said she would have paid more, but she didn't have as many vendors. So right off the top of my head, that's all I can think of without going in.
And Dick hasn't been in yet, and I will contact
No,
him.
Dick has
He
not.
was gonna pay $200 too, so I'll go down and talk to him. I
Well,
just
I'm
haven't
gonna
got
need that
that.
kind of information if he's gonna do an intelligent.
It's in
Same
QuickBooks.
It's in the books.
It's in
It's in the
QuickBooks.
books. Okay. Nuisance order. Has anybody read that yet? The new one?
I have,
Okay.
and it still has some of the same problems that we had before, and that is inherent in nuisance ordinances. Because nuisance is so much in the eye of the beholder. And so if you say thou shalt not have grass over 12 inches high, that's okay. But if you just say you can't let it get too high, well, too high for you is probably different than too high for me. If we go measure it, it's more than 12, that's it. I also look through Eugene's and Corvalis's and the other one you sent me, Hood River. And Corvalis's was the best. And the other problem with this is anybody agreeing to be our enforcement officer?
I think that's why they went with Baker County before, is Baker County was then the enforcement.
Well, no, the reason they went with it before was because they were too lazy to try to modify it and work with it. Is why. They just copied it and said we adopted it, complete with misspellings and everything. So what you have here is the Baker County Planning Office. I don't know if they want to do it. The sheriff, which I don't know if he wants to do it, and any other person specifically authorized by order of the Baker County Board of Commissioners. I don't know that you're going to get them to do it. I think Corvalis's is a much better example. And I think we ought to look at using something like that, because this has language in it that basically says, if somebody thinks it's unreasonable or dangerous, then it's a nuisance. And the only way to resolve that is in court. And you want to avoid that. So, and people can't afford to get lawyers to fight these things.
Right.
So I think we ought to use a good one that probably has some intelligence behind it, like Corvallis, who has a city attorney on staff, or Eugene, who has a city attorney on staff. So, we can look at those, and I think that's the way to approach it.
Renee, can you make us copies of that Corvallis?
Is that the 56 page?
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
it's a long one, and I think Eugene's was the other pretty good one. Hood Rivers wasn't very good.
Okay, so I guess we will just table this until we all look at and then a couple more ordinances. Conditional use zoning, we have not worked on that.
We need to get that,
Set a date.
set a date and get that done that we were looking at.
Can we have that word?
Isn't that what it was sent to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
was
the
it
one
PDF?
John wrote in different colors. I don't think it's word. Whatever. Okay. Can we get it in word?
Get what?
John. did
The
some work on-
ordinances?
Yeah.
The nuisance ordinance that I already emailed you.
No, that one's in word. But we're on
Oh.
conditional use now, I
Okay.
thought.
Yes.
Well, we are, but we
Yes.
haven't worked on it at all. So-
What was the one John provided for us that had blue and red and,
Planning commission ordinance.
oh,
That's
okay.
plan-
Yeah,
yeah.
Marsh and I, and we just.
We're working on the conditional zoning.
Okay.
So, okay, the water for test drilling.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a hold of it, what next yet.
I got a hold of the water.
So therefore, I haven't gotten a hold of, King yet.
Martin said he would.
I got a hold of it. We can't do it without a modification of our water right. And so I suggest we not do it. Let them go someplace else and get a water right. Let them get water from within the mine.
Can't take water out of the cistern.
No, wait. No, water is, all water in Oregon is owned by the state of Oregon.
Okay.
We don't own it. We have certain rights. We have an appropriation system that we are entitled to use. Our city water rights are generally to be used only within the city and for city purposes. You know, there are some exceptions. And in order to use part of our water right, any place outside of its place of use, you have to change the water right, which is an extensive procedure. And then when they're done, you have to change it back. Hopefully they're around and haven't disappeared into the night so we can get it changed back. It's not worth the fuss. Let them go elsewhere. And the water, that's from the water master herself. The head down.
So we have a well and cistern, correct?
It's just a cistern. I thought it was a well, but it's just, I was talking to Jeff today and it's just a cistern.
Just a cistern that's fed from Cracker Creek.
Silver Creek?
Silver Creek well, yeah, it's same.
I had no idea. That's just what he said. But I don't even know where Silver Creek.
I don't know
So
where
I'll get, if that's what we want to do, then I get a hold of Kim Keller and tell him that he can't have city water. Simple as that.
So,
Which I don't understand why he doesn't, because all he has to do is get a hold of the mine that's up and down anyways and take it out of the creek. Because that mine has water.
Well, not quite that simple, but he can make his own arrangements.
Marcia,
Yes, that's fine.
so Charlie, you're gonna get a hold of him, let him know.
I'll call Kim Keller and tell him that the city decided not to sell him water. I'll have to find another one.
Linda, on that subject, your water rate's 1985, you have 32, what was it, cubic feet? No, it's not cubic feet. 122. That's not acre feet, it's cubic feet per second. Anyway,
Cubic
I
inches per
I got it to 8,000 gallons a day, but it's only for use within the city limits.
That's,
And it's 1985, which really ain't much of a water right, but we haven't reported on it for 11 years, and we need to start reporting on it.
And that's a water right. I don't believe that's our drinking water,
No. it's
That's
not.
just out of Cracker
No,
Creek.
it's not a drinking.
but it's subject to forfeiture. If we haven't used it beneficially and seasonably in accordance with its terms. And that means using it when you say you're gonna use it, in the amount you're gonna use it, at the place you're gonna use it, in the right.
Okay, public comment. We have a few people.
Again,
Yeah, you guys can hear.
council has decided to have a Labor Day. Council wants the volunteers to help up at the grounds since we have a Memorial Day and
I thought we said yes.
did we say yes?
Yes.
All right, we'll be there.
Are we still paying?
Commissioner, whatever you want to call it.
This money that Elaine collects, you don't get a percent of that, do you?
No,
Oh,
no.
I wanted to clarify, and I have a question first. I've got 5 of those built with a friend of mine. It's a volunteer thing. I want to know, it's basically for, to help pay for porta potties and parking, if you will. How many porta potties are being rented? How many altogether are being rented? And they're like $200 each, aren't they?
They're like $212 a piece, but it just depends on the market, because we scaled way back from Memorial Day, and we'll day for Labor Day, but more than 4th of July.
And the only thing I need help with is, I put it in 5 different places the last time, and there's a couple places that weren't beneficial. So I know for sure I'm gonna put one at the volunteer booth that he accepts, and at the fairgrounds, I'd like to somehow put one on a post right where you enter the fairgrounds, but I don't know yet about that. And then Mike said he would be more than happy to have one at the service station, but I don't know where else it would be beneficial.
Right by the potties. They gotta pay to go in the potty.
Right, and I don't know where all the potties are, but that's a good idea too, yeah. And they will be locked, and then Renee and I talked so that people don't come up with their own thoughts about where the money goes, blah, blah, blah. We'll have myself, Renee, and someone else from the community count the money at the end. It's a donation, it shouldn't be complicated.
You might talk to Railroad and put one down there maybe.
Oh, that's
Or you can talk to Lynn and put one up by her shop.
Yes, right? Yeah, that's a good idea, correct, yeah. I never thought about that. Yeah, people come and go in and they have to find a place to park and it's like, yeah. Well, like I said, I have 5. Those are great suggestions, and the verbiage, I haven't made up the minds yet, but I just want it to be simple. Help keep Sumter Flea Market coming, if that sounds right, and then donations for porta potties and parking, and that's as simple as that, if that's okay with everybody.
Or help something keep going, potty.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have other public comments?
How are we doing on writing grants?
Come on up here.
Okay. How are we doing on writing grants? Are we writing any?
We are not writing the grants, we have somebody writing them.
And just, what are we writing grants for? Are we just writing one grant, or are we writing grants for everything we can think of? Because there's a lot of money out
Yes,
there.
we are applying for everything we can, John.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of money. We missed the boat on the $54 million they gave. And that's gonna come up. There's a lot of money out there for grants. I was watching Union's meeting last night. For the whole time I watched it, for like 25 minutes, the councilors just had to decide if they wanted to take that money, or if they wanted, what can we do with that money? How much do we want to give to the chamber? I mean,
We've got several of them going, and of course, the biggest grants are for the water, and then we're gonna have one for the sewer. And then we've applied for the CARES Act and the small
City allotment.
city allotment, so yeah, we're working on it.
Who's our grant?
I'm just kind of,
We're
don't want to miss the boat.
We're
I've seen it
applying
before.
for it, we're not writing the grants, we're applying for the money. The grant writer is Nick, who's working on those for Business Oregon, for the waste, for the water.
You did last meeting.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, he was here. So, anybody else, any opinions? We all quiet?
I'd just like to say John Day, I talked to their guy.
I've talked to him.
Yeah, they're spending $1 million a month for 24.
No, they're not. No, they are not.
Yes, they are.
No, we live in Grant County.
Well, just a while ago, you said you're a citizen of
Okay,
Sumter.
guys.
Make up your mind.
You're close.
Oh
my.
Recall. Okay,
Decorum, Martin, decorum.
guys,
You get a pound of yellow.
let's, we're all adults, we have to be a little respectful around here.
Tell him to be respectful.
You too.
Of course. I'm sober.
I would like to say something to the council and to the people who come here. One gentleman from behind me came here several meetings ago, said he was a citizen of Sumter. Made comments towards one of our counselors. Tonight, he said he's a resident of Granite County. We would appreciate if control happened with this council and that gavel to control it before it gets to that point. He shouldn't have to stand up. He shouldn't have to feel bothered up.
Anybody else?
Oh, yes.
I said, anybody else?
I think everybody just gets one turn.
I called Noodle and talked to Noodle about the original song and culture.
Would
I
you
don't
like
think
to let
Kurt already
people
left.
know who Noodle is?
Huh?
Would you like to let people know who Noodle is?
That's a good point. Anyway, we'll get into that. Noodle is the county roadmaster for Baker County. And he put a 4-ton weight limit, which shuts me down. Nobody can get their motorhome across the bridge, nobody can go camping, blah, blah. That's gonna be the first one they fix, and just let you guys know. It's the first one he's gonna fix it, and you can drive across it with the fire truck if you had to. All they're doing is putting some bracing on the bottom so the beams can't rack when we have Cascadia, which is never gonna happen. But anyway, so that's, I was hoping Kurt was still here, but John is. It's
Curtis
okay.
talked to the gentleman also.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be repairing that ASAP.
I think they put one on a limit on Warren too. I think on Warren Road.
It's a bigger limit. They've got a big sign with different, how many axles you got and whatnot.
Okay.
Is that the one that's at Warren though, isn't that one, that's a permanent one, right?
That Bourne?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just, at my place there, they put up a sign.
Because Noodle told me, he says, the state's the one that came out and did this, and they came and inspected that bridge, and when they did, anytime that there's any flaw whatsoever, it automatically goes to straight 4-ton,
Is that,
regardless.
was that the one right at Bourne or the concrete one they probably replaced where we got the ATV bridge?
That big a concrete one, I believe, that's the concrete one that has weight limits on it. That's why it's got the different truck axles.
I mean, are they working on that one or is there another one right before you get into Bourne? I don't think there is.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the one when you cross when you cross Cracker Creek to go into one. Right there where they were mining on the left. You got to go across that bridge. I don't know if it's that bridge they're working on, but he just says that the state automatically,
Yeah,
4-ton, that's what it is until it gets
it's
fixed.
earthquake bracing.
Okay, did you, John?
To clarify, we're citizens of both, just like many people in here, just to clarify.
So, can I make an adjourn, can I make a motion we adjourn?
No. No,
We're not done?
no,
Oh,
I'm
it says it is.
bringing up the hornet's nest again. Sorry. So we had a special session. We voted to change verbiage on our Woodley lawsuit. There's a lot of people in town that are upset with council for continuing to spend money. And I think this is something we need to revisit. I think it's the wrong choice of
They have done things in the past.
Yep.
So we have 2 counselors that go to a meeting. We have 2 lawyers go in front of the judge also. They agreed, everybody agreed on this. Advice from our lawyer, advice from the judge. It was signed. And now we are reneging on something that we said that we would do in front of a judge in good faith. How are we ever gonna break away from I don't trust the city of Sumter?
Well, let me explain that to you. One, I have not seen one bit of written evidence that we have signed anything.
We haven't signed the final judgment.
Well, she said we signed something.
I'm sorry, Wilma. I thought we signed.
The other side
Okay, it
did,
didn't.
the other side.
But
did.
we agreed to it in front of a judge.
And
Or
nobody
they-
knew the facts. You were incorrect as the facts. You didn't know who owned that property. You didn't know the requirements for having a proper party. You didn't know the common law abandonment has been out of use in Oregon in favor of vacation for years. And the judge probably didn't know. Now, if you want to, I'll tell you what. You guys vote and go back to the way you were. Why? Because the two of you are dead set on using the way it was, even though it's wrong. You're asking the judge to sign a judgment that is not legal in the terms of the proper party or the vacation issue. But you go right ahead. You can explain it to him.
Why have we spent over $100,000 on legal counsel if we can't trust our legal counsel?
Well, it seems like about 8 months ago, I told you, he blew it on the summary judgment, that I had sent him cases, he wouldn't even respond. He hasn't done anything. Now, if you hired him and kept him, you know, that's on you. I told you early on, he was the wrong lawyer. He got here in that original lawsuit. And I think I know, and you just stayed with it. There's any number of lawyers in Eastern Oregon that could have handled that case and done a better job. But it is what it is.
But in February, you were in the same meetings,
was.
February and March, when we spent that money on the phone and
That's right.
agreed. The majority agreed to move forward and settle if we got the few options we wanted.
And if you will recall, it was after that that I did the work that that lawyer should have done to discern that there wasn't the correct party. And I told you that about 2 months ago. So don't go changing the
I'm
facts.
not changing the facts.
Yes, you are.
I'm saying in March, this council voted to go forward on a settlement.
Then go ahead,
Okay, and
make your
then,
motion.
and then we were all concerned because it was a subpar piece of property, which it's not. It can stand its own.
I know.
So it doesn't even have to be in the trust. Martin has a choice. Myron has a choice.
Okay, your law degree is probably newer than mine, so we'll go with
No, my law
yours.
degree, you know, I can read stuff too.
Vote, make the motion, vote. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just brought it up because it just bothers me.
Okay, then change
I've
it.
got two
Change
other
it.
people that have opinions too, so it's
Okay.
just you and me.
Just change it if you like. That makes you feel better.
It's not about it.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
No, it's about
It's
looking
about quit
at the
spending money.
majority of the people in this town. We don't even have a grader for plowing snow this winter.
That's
We're
right.
gonna keep playing money to a lawyer. Even if we get rid of this lawyer, we gotta hire a new lawyer. We gotta pay him a lot of money.
And you're gonna keep spending money on flea markets. So make your motion, let's change it again
Let's
later.
open another can.
Pennies to dollars on that one.
It's up to you. I just opened it up, guys.
I'm gonna make the motion that we abide by the agreement that was made in front of the judge.
We'll see what happens.
Okay,
Because,
motion
like I
is
said, I'm
to
pretty sure mine's still gonna want to
go
go.
forward and settle.
Well, at this point in time,
So that, then that'll be his decision, that makes our decision. And then after that, then we can do as we talked before, and we can see about changing the attorney
we'll see what he does.
for a fact.
We'll be done with the attorney. Okay, motion's on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Here.
Here, I'm writing it down. Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
all in favor?
I have one
Oh,
quick.
I'm
okay,
sorry.
Jennifer, sorry.
I've had several people in town request, an update about Greg Lucas as mayor.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to bring that to.
Yes, he is currently on unexcused absence.
Unexcused.
Yeah, he had 30 days from his 8 weeks. But we were just told, somebody said,
Rumor has it he's supposed to be back by the 24th,
which
and he's
is,
supposed to be here by no later than the 25th. So we'll see if he's here for our next meeting.
so we'll just see if he comes back. Yes, John?
I tried to ask you during the bills. I think we're about $9,000 short according to our new ordinance with Tony Amstead and Len Bean. Alterations were $4,500, just like a new service.
Lynn and who else? I don't know. which
Tony
one.
Amstead,
He's the one that Greg was
yeah,
working
Greg,
on up there.
yeah, put a new meter on. Because if you're giving away 3
No.
meters, shit, I'll take 4.
No, Amstead paid for his.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, what? I don't know. I'm just asking. I didn't see it in the
Oh,
in the
and,
financials.
and Lynn
Why-
was
why
just
would it
having
be
a
in the
pipe fix,
financials?
wasn't she?
Because it's money.
I
It's money coming into the city.
don't know.
It's-
It should be accounted for.
It is in the water and sewer.
Okay.
And I think Lynn just had her pipe fixed. It wasn't, it had a blockage going into her house.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they fixed that.
Yeah, it was in the service.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, it was adjourned.
So can we make a motion out to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Been running around all day.